go in.
I'm about to go.
Oh gosh, I got this jacked up shirt. I
Oh,
can't
shit.
get on camera until I get dressed.
Oh, goodness.
I just came from the gym and whatnot.
Oh, you bringing your sexy back?
And 5, 4, 3, 2.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Intimacy Chronicles. I am your host, Queen Jackie, and to my left,
The Invisible Man.
the Invisible Man. That's his costume. That's his character tonight. He's going to be typically invisible.
Hey, I'm good at it.
Tonight, in keeping with Halloween, I mean, for me, I don't really need a reason to dress up.
This is true.
Any day is a good day for dress up for me. But as you can see, I have my zebra attire on today. Forgot my gloves, but nonetheless, I'm a zebra.
You just coordinated and everything, you know what I'm saying? You got the stripes out running in direction.
And this is just going wild, you know.
Just showing.
Stripes are wild tonight.
My goodness.
So in keeping with our Halloween theme and costumes and things of that nature, the topic tonight would be what's the wildest thing you've done?
Oh Lord.
Yeah, I mean we're gonna be wild tonight to honor Halloween, so be afraid. Be very afraid. The Quiet Storm won't be joining us tonight, and as usual, the heavyweight lover is running late.
He's still trick-or-treating.
Yeah, but I think he might be the trick.
Oh damn. I hope you're listening. You just got called out as a trick.
But, you know, last week we did the show at Corinthians, and somebody brought up an interesting topic with regards to sex, unprotected sex. It's my belief that both parties are at fault in the event that there's a pregnancy. But then I had a young man that wanted to argue that point and say, why would it be the man's fault? Well, both of you were being irresponsible. So if the woman gets pregnant, it's both parties that are responsible. However, he feels like if that's the case, then why don't the man have a say-so in the decision? Well, I think that, for me, I think that no man has a right to tell a woman what to do with her body. You went into that knowing that there's a possibility that she could possibly get pregnant. Even for those guys that practice the pull-out game. Still, there is a possibility that the woman can get pregnant. So I want to hear your opinion on that. Do you think that, I mean, you all can discuss whether to keep the baby or not. But just know that anytime you have sex unprotected, that pregnancy is a possibility.
We are completely powerless and out of that decision.
Right, and I get that. However,
not only do y'all get that, you embrace it.
But
that.
But here's the thing. When you have sex unprotected, don't you know going in, two things. There's a possibility she could get pregnant, or there's a possibility you can come away with an STD.
This is true, but if we both
and you
go
take that
in,
risk anyway, right?
If we both go and rob a bank, all it takes is one
that
person
is not
to tell.
the same.
It is the same thing.
That's not the same.
It takes
and you know
two
what?
to do it,
I would figure that you would. That would
to
be
break
your
the covenant. Okay, it takes one to break the code, two to get in it, one to mess it up.
I'm just saying. I mean, what I think is that it seemed that a lot of the guys were on child support. I think this particular guy, you know, seemed like he had some edge in his voice with regards to like you said, it's your fault too as the woman because you allowed him to have. I think somebody's loud with me to have unprotected sex.
Well, it was
It was a
a
mutual
mutual
decision.
decision, but it's
Exactly.
not a mutual decision once the pregnancy occurs.
Well,
Why
and
is
that
that?
I will agree, because I think first of all, you all once
Turn
you.
your sound down.
Oh yeah, yeah. Let me just mute it. I think that once we make a decision to have sex, okay, and let's say I may have communicated that I wanted a baby, and you still decided to sleep with me.
And that happens how many times it says, you know what? I'm going to plan on getting pregnant, so
It's
don't
not
worry
that you're
about
planning on it. You just hit a home run the first time out the
You
gate.
just said I may have decided
No, what
that
I'm
I
saying,
wanted to.
if I've communicated to you all along that I'm interested in having a baby, and let's say you're not, wouldn't that be, to me, I feel like that would be a cue for you to wear a condom.
Oh, if you say that you're going to want to have a baby, yes, there's going to be a point where you say, all right, I know not to go butt
But
raw with you.
exactly.
But when does that happen?
I don't know who y'all be dealing with. I'm just saying.
Regular, everyday women.
I think I must be a rare breed because, first of all, when I was dating, I didn't have time to lie, for one. Because my memory fucking sucks. So I'm not going to be able to keep up with what I told Johnny, what I told Michael, and what I told Ben. I'm not capable of remembering.
It's a new era.
So for me, I have to put all my cards on the table so that there isn't a misunderstanding.
I mean, that would be preferable, but how often do you think that happens?
I think nowadays probably slim to none.
Exactly. So it's
It
a
seems
crapshoot.
like it's. I swear, I talk to a lot of different people, and when I hear the horror stories of dating, it's like, God damn, is this what we've come to?
And see, the thing is that it's like I said, it's not a mutual decision once that pregnancy has been made.
That's true.
We're completely, and then I know a lot of gentlemen where it's been the situation, well, maybe I will. No, I'm not going to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do it. You got the bat, and you know what? When you have something weighing over your head, it's like either we're going to do it or we're not going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not fair to go back and forth just as a power move. You know what I mean?
Right. Now, I will agree with you 100% on that. I think that there should be a discussion. And even though it's our body, I think that all options should be considered. If it's one of those where he says, well, I think you need to abort it without even having a discussion, I think I think it's cold. And the reason I say that because I think a lot of men don't understand. That's his. I think that's his.
Yeah, mute your phone.
Yeah.
But see, I think we should have contracts.
Oh God, we're back to the contract.
Yes, we're gonna have contracts. We're gonna sign on the dotted line. It's like this is a binding agreement, just like you're purchasing a vehicle or something else.
Contract stating what? We both agree to fuck raw.
No, it's like I said, it's like breaking into the bank or something, or even speeding. It only comes up when you get caught.
Well, I think that first of all, when you decide to have sex, I think that the day and age that we live in, everybody should be practicing safe sex. Would you not agree?
Safe sex is locking the doors.
So, you're still going bad knuckles?
I'm just saying that the possibility.
That's a yes or no question.
Don't judge me.
I'm not judging. I'm just asking. I'm just asking a question.
No, I'm bad knuckle.
Okay.
But see, it's a case of people are going to do it. It's just like people are going to do a lot of things. You can't expect people to do what's right all the time or what's
I
proper all
agree.
the time. Otherwise, we wouldn't have accidents.
I think that when, okay, you're having unprotected sex, the woman gets pregnant. To suggest an abortion, I think, is kind of insensitive. And I think that men don't understand that sometimes when we abort and we decide to have a baby, it makes it hard sometimes to carry a baby full time. And then it's irresponsible of women to have unprotected sex and have multiple abortions. I think to do that says that you have no value of life or yourself, for that matter. That's my take on it.
So I hear you. So what do you think would be the protocol for people having unprotected sex?
That they just shouldn't have unprotected sex.
But
But I know that that's easier said than
right.
done.
So when that situation occurs, what is the proper procedure?
I think that there should be a discussion and not just a one-time discussion. I think that the pros and cons, should actually be discussed. If both parties agree that, listen, we made a mistake, we shouldn't have this baby, that's their choice. I think if the woman decides, I'm going to have this baby, I think she should still include the man in that decision. Even if he says, well, I'm not ready for a baby right now, and she decides to have the baby, I think that he should be supportive of that decision.
Oh, he's going to be supportive for the next 18 years.
But it doesn't necessarily mean that she will take him to child support if they can work something out. Not all women take men to child support.
What world are you living in?
Today, because I know a few women that have not taken their men to child support because they're in it together.
Are they together or
No.
are they in it? Because, we're going to have another gentleman come in here and give his opinion because I personally think that you're in this idyllic stage that has
I think
no
not.
bearing
I
whatsoever
think
what's
that
happening in the world
sometimes,
today.
here's what I'm going to say. In some cases, because a lot of times y'all men say women are crazy, but I think what y'all aren't saying is that at a certain point, women get frustrated. So you got this woman pregnant, but you're living with somebody, and she didn't know. So now you want her to abort it so it doesn't fuck up your situation.
So there we go
And
again. Like,
no, wait a
I'm
minute.
mad.
Listen, it's
I'm in
not
my
so much
feelings
about
because
being mad, but
disregard
perhaps
any
she
responsibility
wanted.
I have
I'm not
as a
saying
woman.
she's not responsible, but I'm saying that maybe she wants to keep the baby. But to suggest that I abort it because it might fuck up your situation.
Well, who said abort? You can say keep it half, but make your mind up.
Okay, so
You
if
know
I'm
what I
telling
mean?
you I want to keep it, can we work together?
That
I
depends
don't
on-
have to take you downtown as long as we're working together. You tell me what you can afford to,
And
as
then
far
you
as the
tell-
expenses, what you can help me with, and we can go from there.
And then you tell the courts of something else.
No.
Oh, I think our guest is here.
Yeah, well.
Hold it down.
This is a very hot topic because men feel like they could tell women what to do with their bodies. I think also as women we need to be responsible with our bodies. I think that now day and age, I think that with so much risk, I think that there should be safe sex. But that's not being realistic, it seems, because it seems like so many people are fucking raw.
Safe sex, it doesn't matter. The rubber can break. But the fact of the matter is, you shouldn't.
I do
Personally-
understand the rubber can break, but oftentimes I hear men say, I can't feel anything. I'm not a man, I don't have a dick, so is that true?
There is a marked difference between. Yes,
Let me ask you a question. Do you bust a nut with a condom on?
it's
Do
much
you
more
bust
difficult.
a nut? Yes or no?
It's much more difficult.
Do you bust a nut? It's a yes or no question.
No, it's not.
It is a yes or no question. With
No.
a condom, are you saying when you have on a condom?
Are you trying to tell me where
I'm not. I'm asking a question.
I'm giving you an answer.
asking a
Y'all, I'm not
question.
going to change my answer to satisfy.
So you're saying when you have a condom,
I'm telling you that when men have condoms on, not all the time, you can get the thin ones, you can get the lambs. Sometimes it just doesn't work. Some of them they do. Sometimes it doesn't work.
So Sean says, can't be going raw if you're not willing to accept what comes with it. Sometimes, well, it depends on what condom you use. So if you're not busting a nut, then you have to try a different condom. Or go raw.
Or a different orifice out there, whatever, however you rock with it. But the matter, I'm like this, you know, if you don't bear back something that you don't want to have a kid with anyway.
Exactly. And if you decide to go bareback, as you say, then accept what comes next. Don't rub your eyebrows on this, because if you're not a sterile man and you decide to fuck raw, you do know it's a possibility that she can get pregnant.
Accept what comes next. I agree. Both people should accept what comes next.
Absolutely, I agree.
That means, look, it's coming. Don't play
coming,
games.
right.
Don't come with that, well, I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about it. Yeah, should have thought about that before we got up here butt naked and start getting nasty. Don't come with this, I don't know. Like, you done had 4 kids already. Come on now, don't play with me.
And there is another question in there. Do you fuck somebody raw that's already got 4 kids, knowing that you can impregnate them again?
It doesn't matter if they have 4 or they have 1 or 10. Everybody can catch one. You know,
it's true, but if you just wrap it up, then you don't have to worry about catching it.
Sometimes. See these also. You got a lot of absolutes for someone who's never had owned a penis. If you gonna tell somebody how to wrap it,
yeah,
you want to join us, sir?
No, I'm just asking this.
We have another man.
We have another man
that I'm sure has an opinion. I know you got an opinion.
My opinion is that
come on, man. Come on.
Some guys want a family. They want more kids. And they want to take on other kids to get it.
Exactly,
some guys are like that.
But here's the question that I asked earlier. Yeah, you can move my pocketbook over there on that chair. The question earlier was that if you both agree to have sex with no protection, then shouldn't you both be responsible for making the decision? However, the man can't say or shouldn't say, well, I think you should have an abortion, because he went into it knowing that she could get pregnant.
What?
No, let me rephrase that.
Yeah,
let me fix that up.
There.
That was ugly. So here's the question. First of all, when you have unprotected sex, you go into that knowing, unless you're sterile, that there's a possibility, 2 possibilities. You can get an STD or you can get her pregnant.
We'll agree with that.
Do you still decide to fuck raw? Don't be shy, because we're not shy.
Yes. Some guys take chances. I'm saying me, and no, I won't.
Okay.
You got to speak to Mike.
Me, I won't, but some guys take chances.
Okay. So you're not the guy.
Mm-hmm.
But hypothetically speaking, if you were.
No one wants to be the guy until they're the guy. So,
no one wants to be the STD guy. No one wants to be
the
pregnancy guy.
Then they're the guy. So, you know,
now,
at that point, it's we're going to, you know.
Yeah.
When that happens, you know, no one. Well, of course, the woman has a little more say because it's in her.
It's exactly.
You know,
but
you got some.
You can't completely eliminate the guys wanting, because some guys want to have kids.
Yeah, that's true.
I've known guys that were upset because they wanted to have the kid and she didn't.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's like, it's not necessarily always a situation where the guy says, well, I don't want it.
Right.
You know, we like kids too. You know what I'm saying?
What it is sometimes is that the females is crazy about having babies. It's not teaming up with the guys who are crazy, who want to have them.
Yeah.
Because there's guys who want to have them, but they like to pick the ones who don't want to have them and try to think they can conform them over into being a daddy.
They think that having the baby will keep the man, and then when it doesn't work in their favor, then they become kind of hostile. Well, you're going to child support and yada, yada, yada.
There goes that hostility.
I think that First of all,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you are not going to get into this because you
We're
always...
gonna stay getting into it. You're going to stay. That is why I'm here.
You always want to throw it on the women.
No.
You know, wait a minute. A lot of
do,
times I hear
do.
guys say, oh man, that broad crazy, or she's this, or she's that. But y'all don't want to disclose your role in her acting a certain way. You know, take responsibility.
Exactly. That's my whole point. Take
Right,
responsibility.
but what I'm saying, men don't want to take
Self-responsibility.
responsibility for the woman being a certain way. You know, if she starts slashing your tires and shit, you don't want to say that she caught you cheating with another woman. You just want to say, oh, she's just crazy.
So if I catch you cheating,
I'm just saying, I just use that
right
as an example. No, I just use that as an example.
I'm just I'm running with the example. So
but I just think that women aren't always
creeping,
crazy. I think
I
that
find out that
sometimes
you all
they're
up in my stuff,
driven to be crazy.
It's not driven. We all are individuals. We have the right of self-determination and choice that's God-given. You decide whether you want to act up or not. Now, as a guy, when y'all
This
act
is
crazy...
from personal.
Oh no, you know every guy has their experiences.
Well,
Don't try to go low here.
I'm not trying to go low. I'm just saying you done kind of raised up on this topic.
Because you know what? I'm gonna raise up on every time I hear injustices for men. Okay?
I'm not saying that. First of all, let me say this because I'll play both sides sometimes, and I know that sometimes some women they set out to do harm for no reason a lot of times because maybe they didn't get what they wanted out the relationship. Even if the man told them from day one, I don't want a relationship, and they decided to sleep with him anyway with the intent that they're going to hook him so that he can get into a relationship. I think to me, that's childish, you know, and you can't make somebody want to be in a relationship with you.
This is true.
So the flip side of that is I don't understand how when men, okay, you say you don't want a relationship, but you can't move in with the broad. You can't fuck her every goddamn day and think that she's not going to catch feelings because you're deluding yourself. Because I had this conversation with my son many times. We wear our feelings in our coochie.
But I was watching, I think it was Cops the other day,
Mm-hmm.
and they were out in Vegas, and it was this older guy and this younger woman,
Mm-hmm.
and she moved in with him, and she was, was upset because she'd be bringing a lot of her friends over to the house,
Mm-hmm.
different guys over to the house. She'd take his car, and just leave for extended amounts of time. She was spending his money and whatnot. And they got into a disagreement, some sort of a tussle, where he was like, she took his phone. And, I don't know, it was her phone, his phone.
Okay.
I know he was like, I'm paying the bill or something
Mm-hmm.
like that. And they had a tussle over the phone. She called 911 and he got locked up. Now it's like she moved in with the gentleman.
Excuse me. Mm-hmm.
She, may or may not, I don't know if you were having sex or not, but it's kind of the same situation where it's like, if that guy moves in, all right, then maybe she's thinking they're in a relationship. If that woman moves in, and that happens just as many times,
Mm-hmm.
he's thinking they're in a relationship.
Exactly.
Or is that just not the thing to do?
Well, I think I know of a situation where, the guy was living with the girl but telling her, we're just friends, we're just homegirl and homeboy.
It was her house?
But it was her house.
Oh, she got to take the L on that one then.
Why?
Just
Because,
like
wait, here's the
L.
thing. You're sleeping there, you're having sex all the time, you're going out doing things as a couple. Of course, she's going to start to feel a certain kind of way. And I think when you move in with somebody anyway, that to me says we're building something. Why would you move in?
But you know what? Most of the time somebody moves in because they don't have
men
their
are looking
money
for
right.
a place.
See, there goes the man thing.
Well, okay, that's being sexist.
Women
Yes, it
are-
is.
So
Let's keep it
both
above
are
board
looking
here.
for a place.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when it goes bad, you can't sit back and act surprised like you didn't see this coming.
This is true, but again, men and women have that responsibility to say, okay, you're playing in the fire, so
Exactly.
if you get burned,
You will get burned.
You know what it
Somebody
is.
will get burned. And so when he or she start throwing your shit on the lawn, do you have a right to be mad?
I figure like this: if whoever the person is
Mm-hmm.
that moved that other person in there, you decided to have whatever reason you brought them in there for.
Mm-hmm.
If you brought them under, it's not a relationship. I'm just doing the friend thing.
Mm-hmm.
Then that's what it is.
I
You
think
can't change that by mere compatibility or even presence.
Yeah.
You know,
And I
geographical
agree with
presence
you.
doesn't make you in a relationship.
I agree, but I think what happens, and this happens with a lot of women, they start to hope that a relationship builds.
I get that, but
Yeah.
but who's responsible to say, all right, I'm going to make this decision. I have to live with the ramifications of this decision.
I'm going to have to say both parties play a role in it.
I agree.
Yeah.
So, but you know, like my only thing I'm saying is that if that guy moves that woman in,
Mm-hmm.
who's like, oh, that's my homegirl, whatever, don't be mad if she has a boyfriend or wants to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And in that case, older, younger,
Happens
yeah,
all the time.
it happens
Oh, yeah,
all
sure,
the
you come in.
time. Exactly.
But she got a boyfriend. You knew that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Don't get mad at her. You knew it. Because if you brought her in for any other reason, then you're not being honest to her or yourself.
True.
You know,
True.
I've seen that happen.
A lot. It happens a lot. I think because people want to feel good and they go with the moment, but there's a lot of conversation not being had. So things get hot, but one party is tired of it, and then somebody's in their feelings, and shit just goes terribly wrong.
So people just need to stop having so much nasty sex.
What I'm saying is people need to be responsible. You can't play with somebody's feelings because nowadays it seems people are playing for keeps.
You know, and it's, you can't play with people's feelings. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot allow to be in the arena where your feelings can get played.
True,
also.
true.
So I'm like, sometimes you got to stop having sex with somebody.
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta start just being with yourself at some point. If you can't handle the game, get out the game.
Get
Pull
out the
yourself
game.
out.
And you know when the game is just no longer for you, because if you get caught up in your feelings every time you go from person to person, the game isn't
It's
for
not
you.
for you.
Yeah.
You need to go.
You need to
get
sit
a
your ass
hobby,
down somewhere, read some books,
volunteer.
you
or
know,
something.
right? Volunteer. Do something productive with your time, because right now the space that you're in, the game isn't for you.
Yeah,
You know, but I think a lot of people don't understand that, and a lot of people are afraid to be alone.
You know, and that's another whole nother topic, and that's sad.
It's very sad because, and I know people that do this. They get out of a relationship, they go into another without even having that time to themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're so afraid to come face to face with themselves, and they have a need that they're trying to fill. Then they go to the next relationship, and that fails.
And they're spreading that
because they don't want to take
disease.
responsibility for their own actions
Yes.
and issues.
Their disease and toxicity of unhappiness.
Unhappiness,
It just goes from person to person.
Exactly,
And
exactly.
they're not finding out that maybe you're the cause of this. You're the root.
Because they don't want to own it, you know.
Nobody wants to own up. It's too
But
much
you have
difficulty.
to in order to grow.
But you know, some people never grow. They
Right,
will never
so-
change. They will always think it's not me, it's them.
Yeah.
And they'll go on and they're going to be miserable
for the
For the
rest
next
of their
one, and the
lives
next one, and the next
until
one.
they come front and center with self.
This
So,
is true.
Yeah.
You know, you can tell the miserable people. They advertise their misery
Yeah.
disguised as happiness.
You know, the problem is the line between honesty and what you really want
Yeah.
with women and men. The problem is the line between honesty and what you really want between women and men.
There you go.
Yeah.
That creates the lie.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And one minute you make promises, the female make promises to the man, and then when the female catch an attitude, when the man start cutting them off because they made these promises that they're not keeping to the deal, or even vice versa. That the man made promises to the female start cutting them off because they can't keep to their promise, and that's when things just go awry.
Yeah, I think people go into relationships delusional sometimes.
People live delusional.
Yeah, because they're not clear. Well, they haven't learned enough about themselves to figure out what it is they want. So they know they want to be in a relationship, but they're not sure what they want.
Yes, they don't know why.
Right, exactly. Because everybody else, all of my girlfriends are married, so I feel like I should be married. That's not enough to build a relationship or a marriage on. To say I want to get married because everybody else is, you don't know if everybody else is happy. You know, marriage doesn't mean that you're going to be happy. Some people can have long-term relationships and not be married. You know, it depends on the individual.
Just like boring depends on the individual. Sometimes you can work on boring. Sometimes you can't.
Yeah.
Boring is all depends on the individual. Sometimes you can work on boring, and sometimes you can't. Sometimes you might get a guy that he might seem like a cheapskate. He might seem like he don't want to do nothing but work and be in the house. But in all reality, it is waiting on that chick to say, let me take you out dancing. I'm going to show you some moves. Or let me do this with you. Let's go do this and that. They need a little push.
Right.
Some guys will be like, well, no, I'm just a homebody. This is who I am. I just want to get my 6-pack of beer and sit on this darn stoop after I get off. You have to accept that. Now, to try to keep changing that guy, sometimes it's just not going to work.
It's not going to
happen. Yeah, it's just not going to happen.
But do you, in that regard, then why would you enter a relationship? I mean, I think that people get comfortable, but you have to also remember you're in a relationship. It's not just you.
Yeah.
You know, so there has to be compromise in that relationship.
And like we're doing right now, it goes vice versa. You have women that are like that. You know, a lot of women can't, you know, when you're a person that likes to go out, you can't really see that there's women like that. But you do have women that are the same way, where they don't want to go nowhere. They don't want to do anything. They just want to stay at home and do the same thing like a guy, maybe take a 6-pack and sit back and drink their beers in front of the TV and cheer on the Ravens.
You know, there's actually that whole representative thing and the honest talk that needs to occur after or before the intimacy, but after the attraction. You have to have that conversation.
Yeah.
And you have to be honest, and people don't want to be honest.
But that's like setting the relationship up for failure.
Talking is not setting it up for failure.
I'm saying if you're not communicating what you're looking for, you know, what you're hoping to gain, it's kind of like you're setting yourself up in a sense to where I want whatever you want, but that's bullshit. You're just saying what you need to say to continue dating or...
Yeah, I mean, what I'm saying is people have to bring that honesty factor.
Yeah,
And
but how
nobody
many
wants to
people
do
are
that.
doing that nowadays? I mean, I'm telling you, when I hear the stories of dating, I'm like, damn, you guys
Oh, it's
got...
horrible,
It's,
but
yes.
you know, it's a case of people, they want what they want at the moment.
Right.
And they figure, if I fake it, I can make it.
But it doesn't work.
It never.
Yeah,
Like,
it doesn't
baby,
work.
It doesn't
girl,
work.
I brought my mom's dinners into that man and made him believe that I could cook good all the way until I got that ring.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's the craziest thing. And I think I said this, you know, on a couple of shows. when we got married, I could not cook. I really could not cook. And I didn't lie about that either. I was like, when my mother was in the kitchen teaching my sister how to cook, I was outside playing baseball and football with the boys. I didn't have time for that. So
Wouldn't have made it here. I was like, next.
well, but I was very honest. However, I was willing to learn to cook.
Yes.
That's the thing. So over the years, I started experimenting more, and now it's like the rest is history because I love cooking. I never thought that I would, but I'm a great cook now. But when we got married, I couldn't cook worth a damn. The best I could do was shake and bake some pork chops.
So you were willing to make a change.
I wanted to learn because we both like to eat.
Okay, so how do you classify that? Would that be, did you change or did you compromise or did you grow?
Both. I didn't go into the marriage saying, well, I don't know what you're going to do because I don't cook. I went into it, I compromised because now I have this relationship and I have to make it work. We got to eat.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're not going to be buying, eating out all the time. And I say grow because I learned, I started experimenting with other dishes. And him and my son was my number one taste tester. So I would have to say all three on that.
So
it was a change because I was willing to do it because this was my relationship.
So do you think that's
my superhero?
Hey.
Hi.
Wow.
Flash,
I like it.
How are
You got to let the people see it.
Yes.
Hi.
Yes,
I just walked up in here. I avoided the camera the whole time. Why? I'm just.
Yes.
You can put that.
No,
Come
that's
over.
okay.
You sure?
Yeah.
Now you out the hot seat. He don't want to be in the hot seat.
Yeah, I'm out of the hot seat.
Saved them.
I have somebody
Right.
that has a point of view.
No, I like the hot seat. I don't mind the hot seat. You look good.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm wonderful.
Sit,
Move up so you're talking to the mic.
Why?
They were just
So
talking
we
about
can hear
honesty.
What was they talking
There
about?
we go.
Honesty in relationships.
Yes.
Oh,
So I know you have a lot to say on honesty in relationships.
So what I'm gonna say? Hi, everybody. What do I have to say about honesty and relationships?
Introduce yourself first of all.
Hi, everybody. My name is Phoenix. I'm comedian Phoenix. This is my girl Jackie.
Yeah.
A queen Jackie. And yeah, what do I say about
What do you feel about honesty in relationships?
honesty in relationships is something that if you didn't, it's the crux. It's definitely the crux, but there's also what you have to take into consideration. If you didn't start with honesty, you won't end with honesty, and because you'll go through a relationship and there'll be a whole bunch of moments where people can be like, well, to be honest, or let me be completely honest, or, I'm just going to put it all out there now. No, it's not the time to put it all out there is in the beginning. And that's not to say that you sit down and say, okay, we're going to put everything, what have you, how many people you've been with, how many times you did this, will you do this? But, as things come up, that's the time to address them and be totally transparent about it. Now, by all means, honesty also means that if it don't come up, you don't have to talk about it.
And, just like the costume, she wrapped it up just that quick.
Exactly.
God bless her.
That's Flash.
Oh, I'm gonna see what's up.
Yeah, get that cracking.
Let's get it started.
cracking.
Now,
I like that.
I'm triple, double, super booked. I got people to save, places to go, stuff to do. I
Really?
apologize.
We
I
did
did.
this
Listen.
Okay.
I need a backiotomy. If anybody out there can give a backiotomy, I would appreciate a backiotomy. My back is killing me.
see.
I'm living off of the fat of the Motrin these days. I'm about to move on to the heavy duty stuff. My
Not
back
the
is.
oxy.
It said
My back is. Listen,
backiotomy.
I need a backiotomy. My back is so messed up. Like I can't. I'm not even gonna lie. You ain't on this? You want some?
Oh man, I
Is
don't
there
rub them.
another
I
cup?
break them.
Yeah, there's another.
Alright, you can give me some?
Okay. Now it's Halloween. Let's get it cracking. Let me read some of these comments here.
Oh
Let's
yeah,
see.
you can see something that I can't. That's not fair.
Sean says you definitely can't play with people's feelings. That could possibly lead to death. Absolutely. Hey, Randy. Natalie says, yes, there needs to be a time period to breathe and rediscover the current you. A relationship requires relating. Absolutely.
You can't
Hey,
relate to
Weezy.
what you don't know.
Right.
You can't relate to what you don't know.
And I think that some people don't want to relate. They just want to be.
And you know what? That comes from some people not wanting to know.
Yeah.
You know, there was a guy who taught me a long time ago, like a big brother. He said, you never let it know your past, okay? And it's not to say that you got to be, you got to give the rundown, okay? But everybody has history.
Yeah.
Every woman has her story. So when it's all said and done, his story, her story, the two are going to come together and they make the present. Right. So if we're not moving from the present on, first of all, let me say this. You know how you met me.
Yeah, exactly.
You know how you met me. So because you met me in this setting, there was something kindred about that to begin with. So if you want to take a step back and look at how you met me and where you met me and think of all the possibilities of how many places and things where you've been and things that you've done where you had not met me yet, then go on and do that.
Yeah.
Think about all the times that you was out and you didn't see me, the times that you didn't meet me, and think about that. And maybe that is something that a person can kind of look at, reflect on, and say, "Oh, well, I was doing my own thing too." So I can't fault somebody for doing their own thing. Now, by all means, if their past or things that you don't know are detrimental to your health in any way, physically, especially emotionally. But mentally, you know what I mean? There's somebody going to come banging on the door at 4 o'clock in the morning over some unresolved issues 3 relationships ago, then by all means, I need to know that. Tell me what the possibilities are of somebody knocking on my door at 3 a.m.
Right.
But if we good, we safe, ain't nothing wrong, nothing's bound to happen, nobody going to turn up pregnant. There's going to be no revealing of STDs, so forth and so forth. I'm a certified HIV tester, just so you know. I'll let them know quick. I'm certified. Can I get a finger prick before we start?
A safe sex show.
Right, I got to get a finger prick before we start. I just need a little drop of blood right here from this finger. We're going to wait 20 minutes. We're going to call that foreplay. You know what I'm saying? We're waiting for your results. And yes, let's wait for these results, baby.
So being an HIV tester, I'm assuming that you practice safe sex?
Wait a minute. Is this about me?
It's just a question.
Hold on. Okay. So
This puts you on the spot.
It does put you on the spot, but that's what Jackie does. But what I will say is what I will say is this, like I said, we all have a past. And in that past are embedded some things that we may or may not be proud of.
Right.
But working in the field of Ryan White HIV, what I have found is that it has made me more cautious about how I approach sex. Much more cautious about much. Listen to me. MUCCH. It's made me much more cautious about how I approach sex, because the reality does sit in when you are sitting with a client who looks you in the face and says, I'm 20 years living with HIV and I'm at my wit's end. Wow. Or you get the client on the opposite end of the spectrum who says, I was recently diagnosed with HIV and I'm at my wit's end. So there are a host of dynamics, but do I practice safe sex?
You gonna take the 5th?
Excuse me. I'm not gonna take the 5th. What I'm gonna say is, it's nothing safer than not having none, dog. There's nothing safer.
Now, what was that? About a few months ago, I interviewed Keisha Johnson, who travels the country and, she speaks around the world, educating about AIDS and HIV. And when she was diagnosed, I think she was only 20 years old. And she got it from her boyfriend. And now I think Keisha is 37. But when she found out, she only had 2 T cells.
Wow.
Yeah. and it was so scary for her.
Yeah.
I learned so much from her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That viral
Oh my
load
God.
is real. You know,
But that used to be a death sentence when you were diagnosed with full-blown AIDS.
you know, so and here's what people have taken for granted. First and foremost, back then there were people being diagnosed with full-blown AIDS because they were not diagnosed with HIV.
Right.
But because HIV is the precursor, it did take some time, some research, some medicine, some trial and error
Right.
to get us to a point in society where it's not so much that we have learned to stop AIDS, because we can't stop that transmission. What we can do is help to reduce the viral load
Right.
of those who are living with HIV, educate them, teach them, inform them, speak in terms of how healthy they live. They live sustainable lives as well. And when we're talking about not spreading AIDS, we're talking about not spreading HIV.
Yeah.
That's what people miss. It's not it's not an instant transfer of AIDS.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not a matter of, you know, catch, hey, rub off on me, you got the chicken pox next week. It's not as instant as, you know, you're going to be diagnosed with AIDS. You have to go through the stages and phases of HIV. And if we can get you treated, if we can get, you know, HIV under control with medication, then it makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
You know, so I say that because I work with these people every day. Anybody who knows me knows that any population I work with, I'm all for that population.
Yes,
I'm
you
gung-ho
are.
for that population.
Yes, you
And
are.
I've seen some tremendous turnaround in clients who live with HIV. I've also seen some very sustainable lives, some vitality, people who truly are, you know, dedicated to living.
Oh yeah.
Versus being dedicated to living with a diagnosis.
Right. And that was the point that she made. She's not defined by her disease. And she's phenomenal. So.
I want to say something about that topic. I want to know
Can you speak into the microphone?
Yeah, I want to know why, with this topic of AIDS, we don't have more people speaking as couples that have relationships that have worked for a long periods of time. I've only heard of I have maybe one friend that was, you know, a couple of friends that were couples for several years. You know, that they are people with AIDS having marriages and being together for 10 plus years, and it's working.
And again, allow me to, and this is not to devalue anything that you've said. I respect your question, but understand that living with AIDS, okay, they're living with a suppressed viral load, okay? So that reduces transmission. So myself and you as a partner, if you were infected, you and I would be able to have sex without you infecting me as long as your viral load remains reduced, okay? Your viral load has to remain at a certain level. It's below 500, above 500. Viral load T cell is above 500. I'll give you the details on it later, but, you know, because I'm not at work and I've been, apologize.
Sipping.
They told me there would be alcohol. So, but understand that when people are living as a couple with HIV, first and foremost, like anything, you have to go and find it. If you are not someone who is an advocate for HIV, someone who is living with HIV, someone who is a caretaker for someone living with HIV, you have no idea who's out there, what's out there, what they're doing, and where these resources are. You have no idea who your biggest allies are, who your biggest advocates are. I typically don't say to people, hey, I work in HIV and AIDS.
Right.
You know, I typically don't, that's not what I tell people. Typically what I say is, I work in the field of Ryan White. Understand that Ryan White is that large umbrella that gives federal, municipal, and state monies for resources that actually provide those services. So certainly it's just like, you know, people who have a new baby. They go out and they look for resources for new babies. You know, they got plenty of Babies R Us, Toys R Us, Kids R Us,
Yeah.
everything they got going on, you know,
Yeah.
is for kids. You're surrounded by what it is, you know, what you're experiencing.
Yeah, and some people are crazy because if you say you work with AIDS people, they think, oh, well, they start thinking that
They assume that most people that
you
work
have
with
AIDS too.
exactly, and that is
Like,
not the
Is
case.
that what you
But
think?
no, but some
No,
people
but
have
people
that
do
false
have that,
assumption.
yeah.
Like, it says you work with AIDS people that you must have it, or since you're at a higher risk or something like that.
Well, no, and I
No,
think
that's not the
yeah,
case.
but
Yeah.
that's part of the stigma, and you have to
Yeah,
understand that there's a little bit of stigma in everything. There's stigma in being black.
Mm-hmm.
There's stigma in being white.
Mm-hmm.
There's stigma in living with HIV/AIDS.
Mm-hmm.
There's stigma in, you know what I mean? The kid who doesn't come to school often, you know what I mean, gets stigmatized. It's like, but what happened? We don't know that kid's situation. That kid is actually homeless, and you know they're not coming to school because they're
Right.
running around. So
Right.
while we're stigmatizing and you know kind of like giving blackballing people or labeling people or putting people in these boxes and these categories, we really need to think about the fact that, hey, you know what, living, and this is the one thing that I tell my clients every day. One of the things that I'm constantly saying to my clients is, you don't have a diagnosis, you don't have a disease, it's an illness. You know, you say, I can't live with this disease. It's not a disease. You know what I mean? It's just like anything else. You just got to stay treated.
Do you find that people that some people that are
You alright? I'm gonna talk to them too. Go on, let me talk to y'all.
do you find that some people, I'm not going to say all, but some people that have been diagnosed, do you find that sometimes they are a bit more careless?
I think it's a 50-50 split.
Okay.
I think it's a 50-50 split. I think there are those who are, and this goes back to what I said, some are determined to live.
Yeah.
And some are determined to live with their illness.
Mm-hmm.
There are people who are totally aware of their diagnosis
Right.
and not in treatment.
Mm-hmm.
There are people who are unaware of their diagnosis and not in treatment.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are the people who are aware of their diagnosis, in treatment, and maintaining a healthy life.
Okay.
So when we talk about the dynamic of people kind of like having that and not taking care of themselves and possibly going out transmitting, still living a lifestyle that may have been, you know, how they acquired. Excuse me. It's difficult to say.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, but the numbers do reflect that there is still at least 41% of the population that is living with HIV.
Mm-hmm.
And understand that when they do a lot of this testing, when they do the resistance testing, when they do the research, when they run the numbers, when they're looking at everything, what they can see is that if I'm infected with HIV and I go to the local health department and I get tested there and I'm diagnosed there, one of the things that they're going to ask me from an infectious disease standpoint is whether or not I want to report my partners.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if I give them a list of 5 partners who I've been with in the last 5 years, it's their responsibility to contact those 5 people and let them know that they've been put at risk.
Okay.
There are a number of people out here who don't even recognize nor do they know that they've been put at risk, because how many people are truly willing to say at the moment of diagnosis, let me tell you who else I've been with.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because the first thing that somebody is thinking, and it can go any way. Somebody's probably thinking, hey, you know what? So somebody got me. I ain't gonna tell nobody.
And that's why I asked you that question. Yeah.
Yeah, but it does take some time to move past that mentality if you know, but it's a, I would say, and I would even probably reduce it to a 60-40 split.
Okay.
Okay.
It's so much information out there now. To me, it's no reason that we shouldn't know more about it. And at the end of the day, because it's not just HIV and AIDS, there are other, STDs out here. I think that people should be a bit more responsible. That's my take.
people should be responsible, but at the ripe old age of 39, I can promise you that there have probably been some very irresponsible
Well, I've
moments
had
over the
some
fucking
moments where I didn't use condoms. I mean,
Rubbers
we all
are responsible.
had. But men, and I asked this question earlier because they said that they can't always feel, when they can't feel shit. It doesn't feel right.
And that's some lie. That's some dry
I'm
ass
not a
coochie.
guy.
That's
But
some
what
dry,
I'm going to
that's
say.
some dry ass coochie on a dry ass condom on a dry ass penis.
Here was my question. My thing was, okay, you have the condom on. Don't you dare say you didn't bust a nut. If you can bust a nut, you can feel some shit.
This is true. It's called. This is busting a nut is the result of friction.
Exactly.
Penis,
so please don't say, it don't feel
the
right.
friction that takes place between a penis and a vagina will cause a significant deal of friction and therefore eruption of the male genitalia, thus creating what we call the moment of truth. Nigga, did you not? No, I didn't. You're lying bastard. But
yeah, I mean, don't say, "Hey, Kathy, thanks for joining." I think
Kathy.
that to say, I'm not a guy, and I would imagine that some of the sensation is probably not the same.
Ooh, like
However,
every peppermint patty
if
is
you
different.
can bust a nut,
Then
you
felt the
obviously
gut.
felt something.
You know what? If you can bust a nut, you felt them guts.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
I mean, you moving like you feel something.
But Jake, would you want to be a dude for a day? Would you want to be a man for just one day? If you could be a man for one day.
And so I could pull my shit out and piss in public.
Hey, man, listen, that one works for me. That one works for me. If I could be a man for one day, I think that I would. You know what's funny, Jackie? I thought this would be your answer. I thought you would beat your dick all day. I thought that you would beat your dick all day.
Because I do that with my coochie. So
Right,
I mean,
so if you was a man, I thought you would
I
just
think
beat
it would
your
be
dick all day.
old. Because the thing is, I think for men, when they do it too much, I think their shit swells.
I don't know what it does, but if I was a man,
One of my friends, he used to do that a lot, and he said sometimes his shit would swell up.
And
See, we don't have that issue.
No, I don't.
We don't have that. I mean, I had a session with X videos last night, so I put my cousin down with that.
Ladies and gentlemen, this segment,
I'm not ashamed. Don't fucking judge me.
This segment of the Intimacy Chronicles brought to you by X
has been very
videos.
intimate. Let me just tell you. The Red Cup Flow, the xvideos.com.
RedTube. Shout out to
Because I don't mess
RedTube.
with Pornhub.
Shout out to Rockin' Shay. Shout out to Rockin' Shay.
Is that's a new one?
No, Rockin' Shay. You know that couple that they always be it's a couple. You gotta find Rockin' Shay. Okay, I'll put you down. Rockin' Shay, they a little couple. I hope they don't ever break up. They have what looks like real sex.
And they're not?
No, it's real sex, but I'm saying like it looks like real sex. It looks like me and somebody else.
Like
it's like watching myself. No, listen, they fuck like boyfriend and girlfriend.
Okay.
I love it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's probably why I don't have a boyfriend.
Well, folks, I'm going to be streaming the second half of this show on Instagram. Please tune in at Queen Jack.
Where we at now?
Facebook. Queen _ and YouTube. Hey, YouTube.
They not watching me pour this bottle, are they?
Yeah. Queen _ Jackie A. I'll be over on Instagram probably in about 5 minutes. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Let me make sure I didn't miss anybody. Hey, Sherelle, happy birthday. Hi, Claudie.
Happy
Hi,
birthday,
Trinette.
Sherelle. Happy birthday, Sherelle.
I think I said Natalie. Who else is on here? Hey, Sue. Hi, Vanita. Hey, Pi. Tonda. Okay, y'all, follow me on Instagram. I'm going to put it in the group. Queen _ Jackie A. Let me see. Is that underscore?
I don't know, but the reason I wore this costume is because
that brought back memories.
It had my bad hair day.
That brought back memories.
What? This costume?
Yeah.
Being over there, that's the same thing we said.
The consensus is that as long as you can bust a nut, you can feel the sensation.
You still on?
I'm still on YouTube.
As long as what was the?
As long as you can bust a nut, you can feel the sensation.
You got to get to the nut.
What I'm saying to you.
Mark, how many nuts have you busted in your life?
I'm like Johnny Appleseed. You know, I just been planting.
Okay.
Did you say Johnny Appleseed?
If you can feel those guts, then you can bust a nut. Wait, if you can bust a nut,
If it doesn't fit,
you must.
you must have quit.
You might as well quit.
You must have quit.
But see, you know how everybody with that.
It's
I don't
not
know
that,
which one is
first
it.
of all, it's not that we're feeling your
That don't
dick.
own
I'm
a
just
penis
saying,
gonna tell the
if
one
you
man
bust a
that-
nut, then
Listen,
if you can bust a nut, then you, as she said, you can feel them guts.
Yes,
I like that.
just
That's
so
a
y'all
Johnny
know,
Cochran.
you
If
can
it
bust a nut.
doesn't fit, you must have
I'm
quit.
trying to tell you, sometimes you can't feel them guts.
So,
what
let
is-
me just ask a question. So, how many times would you say you haven't busted a nut with a condom on?
About
On one hand, is it
see, because I'm a proponent for condoms. I'm gonna tell you.
Okay.
I like to be here. I don't want to be catching everybody else's stuff because I'm sensitive.
you sensitive?
I'm sensitive.
You're shit sensitive.
I'm sensitive. Yeah, I'll swell up there. It's not good. So
they have what they call Winter's Eve. It's the men's edition of Summer's Eve for sensitive penises.
really,
No, I just made that up.
but that was a hell of a
That
good
was,
tip.
I'm like, what? That went by me.
You about to get who
For you,
knows how many
they call
people
it
look for that,
autumn.
like,
They call it autumn Eve.
Autumn fresh.
Autumn Eve for men who like to hoop.
Ooh, I would say
So-
for most guys, I can't speak for all men, but you're going to find any man at some point will say, yeah, there is some times where it just wasn't working. Sometimes we'll fake it out just to be done.
And could it be psychological?
Some of it is
Because I think that once you all put that condom on,
you already
you
psyched
are
yourself out that
convinced
you ain't gonna
that
feel
you
it.
can't. It doesn't feel the same.
No, the first thing I'm doing is reaching for a condom.
Well, what does
I'm
it
like,
feel
I
like
know
with a
that,
condom?
but I'm saying, is
What
it
does it feel like with a
psychological
condom?
that the feeling isn't the same?
No, it's not. It's like, what would we put this way? Put a plastic glove on your hand and scratch your ass and take the glove off and ask me if it feels the same.
Well, my ass don't feel like my.
Well, the
my
plastic
coochie.
glove isn't the same texture. as
And
a
my butt
condom.
is not the same texture
is
as my
very
vagina.
similar.
My butt is not the
It's
same
very
texture as my vagina.
Exactly.
So you can't tell me put on a plastic glove and rub my butt and then put on a plastic glove and take my butt off, rub my... No, that's not how it works. I need to put on a plastic glove, penetrate my vagina, see how it feels. Take off a plastic glove, penetrate my vagina, see how
Now,
it
let
feels.
me tell you
what?
something.
You're gonna find
She will
out
try
it
that.
feels
She
different. And
will
you know,
actually.
It's her.
First
She
of
can do
all,
what
why
she
are we
wants.
using plastic gloves? Why ain't we using
Well, let's
rubber
just-
gloves? Because,
Exactly.
Right.
Nobody's trying to get a yeast infection.
now should I use the purple
I'm
rubber
just
gloves
saying.
or the blue gloves?
See, the purple ones are thicker, just like the condoms. You got the,
So,
the clear
see,
ones.
that's what we need to know.
The purple are thicker.
The purple
Right,
The
they
clear
are
ones
thicker.
are thinner, but they break.
This is true. What about
Yeah.
what about the white ones?
The white ones, oh, see, they got powder.
They
You
got
don't mess with
powder.
them.
Not all
That's
of them.
Are you
Not
sure?
all. Some of them are powder free. You can actually
Okay.
wear
Oh yeah,
powder
you're
free
right.
gloves.
Yeah.
And what about the blue ones?
The blue ones, I never mess with the blue ones.
Okay, just checking. So I'm just trying to figure out. Now the blue ones actually feel good, but you said the purple ones feel like a condom.
The purple ones are just too thick.
Condoms feel like the purple glove. It's
Condoms feel like, you good ones feel like purple glove.
good condoms feel like
You're
the
not
purple.
What
gonna-
kind
you
of
gonna- you gonna
condoms do
be
you
silly.
buy, Mark?
Bye. Mark, stop passing my job 3 times a week for condoms.
Okay. There you go.
Okay, bye.
That was me? Yeah.
No.
That was you?
Lambskin.
What you buy?
What do I buy?
Lambskin.
No, see, because the lambskin are porous.
Okay.
You don't want to get all that lambskin shit because that will stop pregnancy possibly, but it will not stop transmission of anything
Okay.
else. So you really don't want to mess with lambskins 2 times.
Okay.
Okay.
You
You
know,
sound like an expert.
well, I've been a guy for quite some time.
So is this from your guy experience that you're talking, or is this from because you actually know these things about condoms because you were taught this, you were properly educated? Because I don't want people to run around miseducating other people about.
Well,
condoms.
it's like you learn. It's on the job training. You know.
Oh, JT.
So okay. So
Yes.
what type of condom does Mr. Sensational use?
I prefer.
What works for you?
I prefer, the of course, we black men, we use the Magnum.
not all black men are
The
capable of fitting the
Here
goddamn
we
magnum.
go.
You got
Let's
to use the
let's keep
Magnum
it
XLs.
100. Let's keep it 100.
Can we
I
just
can't
not-
speak. Look,
I'm
I
not
don't
saying
know.
I'm not
Even
throwing
if
you
we-
under the bus or anything.
Oh
What I'm
my
saying,
God.
I hate for a
See, that's
motherfucker
just
to
a-
say
see,
we
I
use
see how
magnums.
Put the
You
shit on
know-
the table.
you-
Whip it out. Whip it out.
No.
Whip it out. We're gonna have a whole fucking show.
I'm just saying,
We are not-
not all black
People
men
be like,
are capable
why
of fitting
did
a
the show
magnum
black out?
condom.
I'm gonna
Can we
ask-
just say that?
I'm gonna ask
The
the
room
queen.
just
Can we
went black.
just say
I'm
that?
gonna ask the queen if we can go Howard Stern next week and do a show where men literally, do you have a magnum dick? Yes or no? Because listen, every man does not have a magnum
But
dick.
see, here's the thing. They're not all. The regular ones are the same size as all the other ones.
Let me
So,
say,
okay, I
let me
didn't
say
know
this.
that. Okay, I didn't
Let
know
me
that.
say
Yeah,
this.
they don't make the regular. See, they used to make them like the large, but you have to get the XLs for the
Okay.
bigger ones because they'll go ahead and they have regular size magnums. If you
Okay,
like.
see, I didn't know
So they're
that.
not. Yeah,
I wish
they-
I
it's the
had.
fake
I
ones.
wish I had two
Right,
condoms in
yeah,
my
because
bag
that's the
right
first
now.
thing
Because
somebody
I'm
will
gonna
say,
tell
oh,
you
I
something.
use magnums, but I didn't know they
I've done
came
this
in
demonstration so many times where I can take a whole condom. I can get a condom down here to my arm. I can get it. And if I were to put a condom on each arm, you would not be able to tell me which is a magnum and which is a lifestyle. That I guarantee you. So don't keep telling me. And the gentlemen, fellas, this is the Flash.
But see,
I'd like to take a moment to give you guys just a brief lesson. Here's your lesson for the day. Every man doesn't have a baby arm. Every man doesn't have a baby leg. If you think that you need a magnum, maybe you're a fagnum. Think about it,
and that's one to grow.
gentlemen. Every man doesn't need a
That
magnum.
was a little different.
But see,
You know why? Because it's a magnum, not a magnet. You already attracted to the pussy. Every man don't need a magnum. Use a lifestyle. Sex is a lifestyle, just like a condom. Put the condom on. You don't-
lifestyles are small and thin.
I did a lot. The lifestyles got you through high school.
Lifestyles
Got you through middle
are the
school.
white gloves.
Lifestyle-
They're the white and the clear gloves. That's what lifestyles are. They're the white and the clear
You
gloves.
did a lot.
They break, they not good for you. Oh no, don't give me that.
Oh, damn it.
You try to slide that in. But see, I hear you can do the whole thing with the whole stretch. They're going to stretch, but y'all can also put out a 10-pound baby. That doesn't mean
It's
you can go in there
true.
and stick a damn 2-liter bottle of it.
That baby also is coming out, not going in.
Well, when that push, there's a couple of movements.
But
It's
it
like
opens up.
you're waiting for a whole hour to get that thing out.
The birth canal.
So
is a
just
beautiful
because
place.
you can stretch it doesn't mean that you can do that all the time.
Okay,
That's all I'm saying.
so
I'm actually wearing this to cover my mustache and my beard today.
Oh, that's all right. You beard gang, ain't nothing wrong with that. Do you?
Oh, yes, it is. Shut up.
so she's Flash. So
Yeah, I got
being Flash,
Did you see it?
are you a marathon man or you a Flash?
See, how did this get here?
she patty.
How did we just
Oh,
go?
because I'm petty.
How did we go
I
just?
just had, it was the red cup
Ladies and
flow,
gentlemen, to my right, we have Patty Patterson.
No, that was a joke. That was a joke.
See,
So,
it's already set up. Oh, see, I'm sitting here.
that was a joke.
Fixing
See,
computers.
that was a joke.
See,
just-
what man is going to say, yeah, I'm in the Flash? Ain't no dude going to say
Well, I'm faster than the speed of light.
that.
It's okay to run a marathon. Just know that once you cross the finish line, you are responsible for cleaning up any spills or mess that may be left as a result of your swiftness.
But see-
Therefore, it is strongly suggested that if you are a marathon runner, you bring your own materials for departure, including towel, washcloth, and preferably your home soap, because you're not privy to use mine if you fuck too fast.
So if
So
you
wait, hold on.
yeah, because that was a lot. That was
So
a
what you saying
that
is,
was
she
a
took
lie.
a fall, didn't
what
she?
you're saying is,
Because if
there
you
is
come
a
up in
rule.
here,
First of all, they can't come
Because
to
if
your
it-
house. They have to bring their own.
Right, no, here's the thing.
Oh
this
no,
what you,
I'm
no,
using your toilet.
no, you ain't using shit.
You're
If
not
you
bringing
don't-
your own
I'm
soap.
wiping
I
my
think
ass on your
No,
rag.
first of all, no,
Oh
you
my
ain't,
God.
no, check this shit
you
out.
gotta
gonna
have
drop it
a
right there on the
night
table.
bag. You don't have a
First
night
of
bag.
all,
Who
We've been playing. We've been playing.
Man.
We've been playing it all
I
week.
mean, I'm just
We've been
saying.
playing it all week to get together, and you come over here, and the shit is over in 4 minutes.
And a half.
4.5 minutes. We've been planning to get together all week. You get here and the shit lasts 4.5 minutes, nigga. You're a waste of my wash
Check
rags.
this out.
You're a waste of my soap.
Check this
You're
out.
a waste of my fucking towel. You want to wash that ass? You can go wash that ass elsewhere. You can wash that ass as long as you bring in your own shit.
Holy
But you're
God.
not gonna be using my good. Listen, you're lucky I'm letting you use my water. You just gave me 4 minutes of bullshit. I waited all week on this dick like a paycheck, and you gonna give me 4.5 minutes of what you call pleasure? Now, you must be crazy.
Let me tell you
At
something.
4.5 minutes, we still in
Let
the
me ask you a
That's
question.
3.5
Now, does
minutes
the
longer than
4.5
it need to be.
minutes, does that include oral, or is that separate?
Sex does not begin until penetration has taken place.
That's not my question. Did he
Oh,
give
so
you
that was
foreplay
just a
first?
fake nut that you busted? And it was
Oh,
like,
yeah, yeah, foreplay. No.
So then that's another 2 minutes.
No.
or so.
right, like
Look,
foreplay was 2
check it out,
minutes.
Miss 4
He
minutes.
knew he couldn't handle it.
Check it out, Miss 4 minutes. All right, look, the towers came down in 7 seconds. Okay, earthquakes happened.
What the
in
hell does that have
42
to do with
seconds.
the price
10
of coffee?
seconds. You can change the landscape in 12 seconds. So damn it, you got 4 minutes. That's a damn good day.
Can your penis fight terrorism?
Oh my God!
Can your
What
penis
did you-
fight-
I can't believe you used the towers, man.
Can-
You
right.
petty.
Can your penis fight terrorism?
7 seconds.
Oh
Can
my
your,
God!
can your penis
So
fight
you saying
terrorism?
4.5 minutes? That's pretty damn good.
That's like
That's
a
whole
lifetime?
Movie. That's
Yeah.
a lifetime movie.
Would you have been
Oh
able?
my God!
Could you
And
have?
then I am going. And look, that's number one. Number two, you better have a rag and some damn hot water. Cause I'm telling you right now, if you don't, that pillowcase cover.
Let me ask a question. Speaking on that, when you go on a date, when you go to somebody's house and you know it's a booty call, I'm going to ask you first as a woman, what do you take?
First of all, I've never participated in a booty. What's a booty?
What's
Like, okay. You know, you take your tours. No, I ain't lying. I don't do the booty call thing.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole bag.
Did you say whole
the,
bag?
the whole bag.
Can I
The
get a
whole bag.
refill?
The whole bag, as it's called, should consist of
And some of that.
a very cute bra that doesn't stay on for more than 2 hours because it didn't fit to
So
begin
you wear
with. That's
bra.
why your titties is popping out. Okay.
Well,
some,
alright.
some very cute panties,
Sounds good so far.
toothpaste, deodorant, some things to say, hey, I'm going to be here for a little while. This is a little bit, you know, your little body spray, something to freshen up. Some feminine wipes. Gotta have the feminine wipes. Gotta
Absolutely.
have the coochie wipes.
Some pots and pans and eggs for breakfast.
No, he better have pots and pans.
If you ain't do it right, you ain't getting no goddamn breakfast.
Look, David.
I'm just saying, let me
Listen,
sit.
I can either leave the bag in the trunk or I can leave it by the
My
door.
bad, I had an out of body.
There you go. There you go.
Mm.
Look, I hope you brought some lunch meat or something, because you know brothers get hungry after sexual
Well,
relations.
let me just say this. If I were dating, here's what I would bring.
See, this is all fantasy.
My trench coat.
Oh shit.
I thought you would have that on when he opened the door.
Yeah, and bra and panty underneath. What the fuck?
Oh Lord Jesus. Big Sugar's in the
Rose.
What
Ricky,
the
Ricky.
fuck?
Rose.
Rose.
Oh
Ross.
my God. Rick Ross is in the building, y'all.
I
Whoop,
cannot.
whoop.
I cannot.
Whoop,
Ross.
whoop. Got his
I
teeth.
cannot.
Hey.
Rose.
I submit.
Rick
I've
Ross.
Get it for me one
He
time.
did that shit, man.
No,
You
just
did
listen.
that shit.
Rose.
Rick Ross, yo. Whoop, whoop.
Ricky Rose.
is in the building.
Rick Ross.
Oh,
That's how we do.
no, listen.
MG, baby.
Listen.
You had to
Here
get
with the
that
queen.
beard
This
tight.
is the
You
over.
feel me?
Man,
This the
that
over
beard
cross
is
now.
tight. Oh
This-
my God.
Right.
Wow.
Uh.
All right,
Did you
all
get
right,
some
all
chicken?
right, all right.
Rick Ross didn't bring no chicken.
No chicken.
Yeah,
Damn.
no,
I should
honey,
have told you to
chicken
stop at
spots.
Royal Farm.
You slick motherfucker.
Yes.
Yeah,
See this is teamwork, goddammit. You could have got a Hawk mask.
I'm the invisible man, okay?
You were
Yeah.
about my mom.
All right.
You know, I might
Oh, yeah, we gotta get a photo. You did that shit, man.
You know what I'm saying?
The cigar, everything.
Yes.
You did
Yes.
it. You did
You
that.
did the damn thing.
Cheers to you, brother.
Cheers.
Out of breath
You
in the
missed
top of the
one.
steps and every day.
Typical
Listen,
Ross.
He can't even respond yet because he's still catching his breath. I know that feeling.
Don't fucking judge him,
He like,
goddammit.
oh, he like,
Right, don't
see,
fucking
his
judge him.
next album, as soon as I catch my breath,
Okay.
this nigga like,
Oh my
that
God.
is real.
hold up.
Wow.
That ain't hate.
Let that man breathe.
Let me tell you something. That ain't hate. That's real. Because I know.
Yo,
I
it's
know.
the queen.
What's up?
You
I
feel me?
know.
Say MMG in the building.
Rick Ross
You feel
in the
me?
building,
Did you bring
y'all.
Meek with you? Did you bring Meek Mill with you?
He outside.
Did you bring
He
Meek
keeping
Mill
the
with
car running.
you?
Yeah.
You know he is. No, I ain't going in there.
Oh my God. Anyway, so the question, I think you and I had this discussion many times. The condoms. Do you bust a nut every time you wear a condom?
No.
Thank you.
You a
I'm
fucking
glad.
lie.
How you gonna
don't.
tell?
I don't.
Because we
Thank
just
you.
had, him and I had that conversation.
Did you have something to say?
Excuse me. First of all, remember that you are not getting any
4 and a
pussy.
half. Yeah, back
You're
to
not
the bag.
You're not getting any pussy.
You ain't got to be.
Back
doing all
to
that.
the
Yeah, you can do all that.
the
You
booty
ain't
call
gotta be-
bag.
That's what it's
So,
like, man.
as I was
Thought
saying,
we was cool. Hey, you
Oh.
got the chain and everything.
Don't-
yeah, don't he?
Damn, son, I'm gonna be like you when I grow up, son.
Listen, keep doing what you're doing. I'm bringing you in on MMG.
Man,
You know what?
Well, look how we do, baby.
Yo,
Boy,
you
You
know
gotta
what?
show the
Go on,
chain. Show the
First of
chain.
all,
Show
let
the
me
chain.
let me just
No,
say
I ain't
this.
chain really
First of all,
MMG
I'm
though.
fucking jealous because his titties bigger than mine.
Ladies and gentlemen, right back after this commercial break sponsored by Victoria's Secret. Bras for men.
I'm fucking jealous, yo.
Don't be. Don't be.
That's
Oh,
how we
yeah, of
do
course,
it.
just because you ain't got nowhere shoes with them.
So,
None.
what's in your when you go to a woman's
That's
house?
all.
What's in your
Whole bag.
Your whole bag.
My whole bag.
Yeah. What do you take?
This nigga gonna say I'm Ross. I take her shopping. Breakfast.
That's what you gonna say.
Pulse.
I take her shopping for
Fucking beard
breakfast.
is tight, man.
Thank you.
Now answer the damn question.
Hey, it look good as shit.
Yeah, that shit is the bomb.
What was the question again?
What's in
What's
your
in
whole
your-
bag?
Because you know, when I get the cup, there's always something in the cup.
What's in your whole bag? Goddamn it.
In the whole bag, like
Yeah.
a real bag.
Yeah,
Well,
your whole
yeah.
bag when you go out.
Everybody got a whole bag.
Lotion, a sandwich,
There you
liquor.
go.
This
I told you
motherfucker
about
said
that
a
sandwich.
He
sandwich.
said
Told you about
This
that sandwich.
motherfucker said
I
a
told you.
sandwich. A
Did he say
sandwich.
a sandwich?
A
told you.
sandwich. Why
I'm
is there
so
a
glad my
sandwich
man
in your
back
whole
up in
bag?
here.
Say a sandwich.
If you
What
ain't got
else?
no sandwich, you ain't getting no.
Why is there a sandwich in your whole bag?
Because
Because
you ain't have
after
one.
you finish, you get hungry.
Thank.
Now,
Oh,
and
you
will,
got to- you got to-
will a
you gonna
condom be
signify
in the
now,
bag
huh?
as well?
The condom will be in the bag.
Okay, and what else?
For
you
sure.
take your own soap.
Hold on, because it just ain't no any or ordinary condom. A Magnum will
Ah!
be in the bag. A Magnum will be in the bag.
Well, let me say this about
Magnum
Magnums
sandwiches,
because
ladies
we
and gentlemen.
already
Magnums
discussed
and
that
sandwiches.
Magnums come in size. So don't be sitting here fronting like Magnum means extra large because they come in sizes according to Mr. Sensational.
They do, but you just a hater
Ross.
by nature. I see.
I wish I had a condom on me because if I'm not mistaken,
What else is in your
I think
bag?
Lifestyles and Magnums are made by the same people.
They don't make an XL. Or
You got the
lifestyle, I
sandwich.
believe.
You
Yeah,
got the
I think
Magnums.
they are.
You got
Trojan, yes.
What else?
There's Trojan Lifestyle and there's Trojan Magnum, so
The
yes.
zebra. What else?
I got the sandwich, the Magnum, the lotion,
Peanut butter,
Whipped
KY.
What?
You feel me?
So you doing backdoor?
gravy, biscuits.
Yes.
Okay,
So,
that's a must.
So,
Let me see
Is
what
that a
else.
must?
I think, and I
The
got a
rose,
key.
baby.
I got
And is she now? Let me ask you something. Since you're taking the KY, is that for both
here
of
she
you
go.
or just for her?
That's just for her.
Okay, I'm just asking.
okay.
So you're not interested in her massaging
No,
your prostate?
no.
See there. I'm
Every
leaving.
man should
I'm
have,
leaving.
every man should
You
have
know
a
what?
prostate
Take a
massage.
cup. Take a cup right
Every
now.
man should have
Take
a
a cup.
prostate massage. No. Every man should have a prostate massage.
It's multiple orgasms when you're open-minded enough to let a woman
You know
massage
what?
your
They,
prostate.
you've been telling men how men feel and act all damn night.
But I'm just drinking
Like
my
at
cup.
some point you actually woke up and saw something hanging down there. No.
Are you open to let your prostate be examined, my fella in the corner over there?
No.
Why?
Then why you start laughing?
You know, I hear I'm not gonna say this, but I am. But I had a couple female friends talk their man into using the sex toy. Next thing you know, they got mad because their man ran off with another man.
Whoa.
Well, let me say this.
So
He
I
took it
think
somewhere
this
else.
women need to stop turning their hardcore men into fags.
Now let me
Pushing them
ask you,
sex
because I
toys
don't
off
think
on
that automatically turns them into fags. I think those motherfuckers was fags anyway.
No, when a
That's
man
enough.
keeps saying no, and they're like, we've been together for 18 years, 10 years, and 3 months. You should try these dildos out, and nobody gonna know. And next thing you know, they switch over on your
That's how
ass. They switch over on your ass.
No.
And yeah, they switch
Oh,
over on your
God.
ass because you want to get extra kinky and play like a man. And then they leave you for another man. You get upset.
But
You
well, but
turned
here's
your
the
man-
thing.
You turned your husband
If
out.
I turned him out, to me it seems like in the back of his mind he always fantasized about being with a
Ain't
dude
that the
anyway. I just don't think that
Ain't
that
no.
action right there is enough
No.
to make him run off with a man. I'm not convinced of that.
Because a man ain't
Cause
massaging
you
his
know,
prostate
what
all
the
day.
next step is? Next step is like, oh well, I want to get taken care of for a change. They start thinking
They
like
want
a
to
woman.
get done. They want their asses
Yeah.
up in the air.
They want to be taken care of rather than them always being the one taking
And there
care
goes
of
the pillow
the
fight.
woman.
Oh my God!
They switch
Hi,
over in their
Keith.
mind.
Hi, Sam.
You done boned them with their fake
Hey,
dick so
Sasa.
much, they done switched over in their mind.
Cheeks in there.
That's bullshit. I think that.
Bullshit.
I think it is bullshit.
It
I
didn't
think that the
happen.
motherfucker was already thinking about getting bunned, and once that finger got in his ass, he just got excited, and it confirmed
So
that was the team he needed to be on in
so
the first
he just waited until he was 30, 40, 50 years old.
because he was struggling
Sleeping
with
with
it.
women for 20 years.
Because that
And
doesn't
yeah,
mean,
you
I mean,
asked him
men
to put
come
that
out at
toy in
all
his
different
butt.
ages. I think once that finger got in his butt, it confirmed that was the team he needed to be on in the first place. I'm just saying.
This is way too adult for me.
What's
I'm not
your
ready.
take on it, Rick Ross? I got Rick Ross in the building, y'all.
Ross,
I am.
you know how we do here at MMG, baby.
What's your take on it?
Ain't none of that. Let me tell you, I
So ain't nobody fingering your prostate.
I see a lot of shit. I see and hear a lot of that shit in the industry. I don't fuck around with that. You know what I'm saying? I'm 100% man. That's how we do it, MMG, baby. You know what I'm saying? We don't, boss. Huh.
Well, wait a minute, motherfucker. Because, you know, since we talking, now you saying this 100% man shit, but you let a broad part your cheeks and lick your ass.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait, you know what? She
Oh, no, a
She did
woman
that.
likes
She
that.
did, I heard
A woman
she
likes
did
that.
that. I heard she did that to my man Big Nate. Not Rick
Who the
Ross.
fuck is that?
Not Rick Ross.
She done-
Yeah, I gotta go.
Yo, wait a minute. Did he just, you gotta go, baby?
Yeah, I knew
Can we
I
get a
could
picture?
stop. I don't want you to stop your broadcast.
No, he gonna take over from here. But I need a picture with you.
Oh, bro.
Yeah.
Rick Ross gonna take over the show right now.
Flash.
Take a picture, Mark.
Mark, take a picture so you can send it to you.
Flash.
Can I take a picture?
Flash.
I'm on Instagram.
Oh, what the can? Oh, I'll
Where
take
you
a picture.
get?
Let me
I
take
gotta
it off
move.
You
camera.
want to use my phone?
I'm in and out like,
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I got
Use your phone.
you gotta get a picture
Oh,
of me.
Yo,
yeah,
yo.
real quick.
Come on.
What's up?
Fella.
I don't know why.
Hey, Don, yo, come on over to
You know,
MMG,
you can
baby.
take a picture behind Ross.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Okay, let me see. Hold on. Let me get to the camera.
You want us to rub your head?
Or rub your titty.
Oh, see.
That's some bullshit. That's some bullshit.
Come on.
For
Come
all
on,
me.
come on, come
For
on.
all me.
Oh, I got some good shots too.
I was trying to
That's
tap.
how we do, baby.
JB, I was trying to tap into that
Wow.
double thing.
Dang.
Into the okay.
Yeah, where's I was trying to do
Right.
that.
Oh yeah.
Rose.
So see if
That's
you can
right,
invite me
Danielle
off of that,
Rose,
man.
baby.
Okay. They say you joined, but
Hey, Don, y'all
As
to
a
the
viewer.
show. I'm gonna come get you.
so how do I invite?
I'm gonna take my plane, man. We going
Yeah.
back to down to Miami.
I don't know. Okay.
Just like
Thank
a
you,
flash.
Flash. I love you.
Kay, what's
Love
up?
Flash. That's my girl, Flash.
You good out there? Where you park at?
Hey, Don. Hey, Don, y'all, that ain't funny.
So okay. So back to this salad tossing thing. I mean, you don't want a finger back there, but you'll let somebody stick their
When we
tongue
go
back
high,
there.
Jackie goes low.
I'm not petty though.
How that wife done turned them out after being together for 10 years. That wife done turned them out after being together for 10
Okay.
years.
Well, that wasn't even your wife,
Ooh.
right? Okay, motherfucker, you gonna talk or what?
Yeah, I'm talking.
Okay. So, cause he letting this Rick Ross shit go to his head and carrying on.
Hey,
So, it's Halloween night.
yeah.
And you know, Halloween is like the freaks come out at night. Reveal your
Halloween
freaky
every
side.
night up in this butt.
I'm telling you, man. What's your freaky side?
She just come out with guns blazing today, ain't she?
It's
Yeah.
Halloween.
Hey, look. You know how Ross like to eat, baby. You know I own wing stops everywhere. So I think my fantasy gonna be, you know, look. Suck on my chest. Grab my butt.
I can't handle it.
Oh my God.
I'm scared.
Give me some head. Knock me out till I'm dead. You know what I'm saying?
So when you say rub on your butt, do you want her to squeeze your ass or what do you want?
Do like she do when she in the grocery store. When she got a
Squeezing
feel
the
for the
shoulder.
melons and shit.
Mark, I'm sorry, Mr. Sensational.
I'm not touching any parts of any of this conversation.
What's
I
your...
refuse. I refuse. Don't even. Hell no. No,
So are
damn
you
it.
saying Mr. Sensational does not have a wild and freaky side?
No, I'm boring.
That's a bunch of bullshit.
I'm boring. That's why.
Mr. Sensational, you had your feet tongue kissed. Don't sit over there talking about you're boring.
I can't help what they do, but you know, I'm boring.
So, what you, straight missionary, that's it?
You know, I'm a monk.
Bullshit. Anyway.
Yeah, come on.
You always want to be incognito,
You're a
man.
monk.
This is a fucking adult show.
That's right. Someone has to bring some levity to this circus here.
Bullshit.
I am
Bullshit. We are adults
I am practicing
talking
abstinence.
adult shit.
I'm-
So what's your freaky side?
I get at home and with a patty pie and watch infomercials.
You get her home with a patty pie, smear it all over her body and lick it all.
What the fuck is a patty pie? Oh,
Those
patty
little
pie.
pies
Okay.
That had the man
Okay.
singing.
Okay.
Man got a record deal. You know,
Oh,
all of that
man.
shit. So man over there in the corner with your one eye open. What's your freaky side, man?
I'm a country guy, so
Country guys are freaky.
I'm a plain person, just plain. I'm plain as can
Y'all
be.
bullshit.
He's playing like he's me.
Is
And
that
really,
what it
he's
is?
the one that's all up in the club.
Throwing it up.
Yeah.
Throwing it up.
No, that
Yeah.
Ricky
Throwing
Rose's
it up.
the one in the club throwing it up.
Listen, I'm tired of you with your bullshit. Come out with your freakiness.
I don't have that.
You're a lie.
I'm still learning. I'm young
That's a
again.
lie.
He said he like to sit in barber chairs and just have the titties all up on the back of his neck.
I can see that in you. I can see that in you. I am who too.
And he said he thought of putting one in his house just for that purpose.
I think Mr. Sensational has a pole in his house. But I think he the one swinging on it.
Can't nobody
Yeah,
love
funny.
me like me. There you go.
That's funny.
Oh, God. Let me ask a question to the
Oh,
men. Okay.
So here you go.
Now, I'm going to put my own self out there. Everybody know that I like to play. So, how often y'all beat y'all meat?
Where does this come from?
God damn.
At the top of my head. Shit.
No more Halloween treats for you.
I ain't had none yet.
We're taking away your bottle.
It's gone.
Clearly.
But that wasn't from me. That was from y'all.
Gross.
So he's caught in his own shit right now.
I
So
see.
we just gonna ignore him right now. How many times you beat your meat, man?
Every time there's a woman there to do it.
Yeah, dog, yo, she going
So
hard, ain't she?
let me ask this question because I hate when you motherfuckers sit in here and act like y'all don't beat y'all shit. What I know y'all do.
Apparently, you know more about male anatomy than the man that.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Fuck it, I put myself out
Oh
there.
yeah, put yourself
I
out
put
there.
myself out there.
Twice on Sundays.
You know what I'm saying? I grabbed that motherfucker. I got that porno on. Now jerk that motherfucker
How many times a week?
until the white shit come out.
Next.
And that's what you. That's what you wanted. That's what you want.
Security.
Yeah, I asked the question.
Okay,
Wrong.
my man over there on the chair. How many times you beat your meat?
I was
I don't want to
saying,
hear that goddamn country boy shit. How many times you beat your meat?
I was saying every man that they ain't got a woman around every day, the day that they ain't fucking abroad, they probably beat their meat.
Thank you.
I would say at least once every day.
Thank you.
Damn.
This motherfucker want to act like he don't do his shit.
Yeah.
I told
Now,
you.
I asked the question, and I
virgin.
can be honest. You know, for me, probably 3 or 4 times a week. Sometimes I just need to take
A
the edge
day.
off.
A day.
Sometimes I just need to
And
take the
bird.
fucking edge
You
off.
one of them chicks
Driving
that
to
Don't fucking
dildos
judge
in your
me.
purse,
I don't
right?
need dildos
Oh,
because
she was in
I'm natural.
She was in the passenger seat of her
I
own
seen
car.
that shit
When I
on
walked
the-
up here.
on
yeah.
the,
Damn.
like
I said,
the
I'ma
Expo
let her
I don't
be
show.
need that. That's what these are
Chicks
for.
walking around with dildos in their purse on the low. You one of them?
Nah, I don't need that. My hands can do it.
There's a lot of them doing that.
Yeah, my hands
Whipping the
can do
dildo
it.
out.
I need to
He
know.
said no.
I need to know-
M-O-T, you said
I
no.
need to know what's up with these dildos.
Whipping those
They got the
dildos out
they got the
during
dildo,
lunchtime.
and then the motherfucker got the little hook on the motherfucker top and shit. What the fuck
The
is that
tongue.
part for?
You talking about the rabbit?
That's the rabbit shit.
Is that the rabbit?
Yeah.
The rabbit is to stimulate the clit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this
So
I seen the
why you got the penis
Doing double
inside?
duty.
I seen the dildo where the motherfucker was this fucking long, and the bitch had an extra hook on the top of that motherfucker. You feel what I'm saying? I'm saying to myself, like, what the fuck
That
is
sound like a
that?
rabbit.
Oh, that's the
What the
rabbit.
fuck
If
is
it's on
that
the bottom,
for?
then
If it's
a
on the
rabbit.
bottom,
If it's on the top, that's the little G spot finder.
yeah.
Not that
Because
I
some
know.
of y'all men
I
just ain't hitting the
I
G
read
spot.
that somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
I'm saying, how many of y'all chicks? I'm saying y'all kinky. Y'all been rhino.
What?
What the fuck is that?
Where
Now I
they-
think I know a
where
lot of shit.
Where the dude put the darn dildo on their head and just poke at it, boom, boom, boom,
Who
boom.
fucking would want to do that?
Damn.
There's a lot of dudes that do it.
Spelunking.
A lot of chicks
Okay.
get off on it.
It's the miner style.
A
That's
lot
what it
of
is.
chicks get off
That's
on
some
it.
country shit.
That's coal miner style.
I ain't never
That's
heard
that-
that.
that's
You
that
know,
white
you
about the
learn
hard
something
hat.
every day, yeah.
The hard hat.
You got a light on
That's
that
the white
joint.
boy shit.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's country.
Damn.
That's like saying how many of you bras have been fucked by a horse. You know what I'm saying? I'm just
I'm
saying.
saying when you say freaky, you
Does
know,
a donkey count?
but how far are
Is
you?
a donkey hung like a horse? I'm asking.
Yeah,
You from the country, is a donkey hung like a horse?
I don't know.
You mean to tell me you ain't never look at a donkey dick?
Nah.
This just went so
Not
far.
that kind of
Oh my
country.
God.
It's Halloween, y'all.
Not
So
horse
lighten
country.
up. You know, Halloween, we just the
See,
freaks come out.
you gotta understand. See, with him, Queen, He's country.
She said she
he's
going
country,
hard.
He's country crock.
Danielle said I'm going hard in the
Yeah.
paint.
Yeah. He's country crock. He ain't country time.
Hey, T-Von. Yeah, I'm just saying. I mean, he
I
went with
just
the
put
whole...
that out there for all the females that be like rocking the darn Beyonce surfboard shit, the sex toys in the tub, all this sex toy talk. You know, there's the chicks out there like to be rhino. They
But
on the
you
low.
brought that
They on
country
the
shit
low
to
about
the
it.
table, talking about some goddamn rhino shit.
Yeah, they on
Now
the low
I be
about
thinking
it.
about the rhino,
Yeah.
like, what the
They on the low about it. You know what I'm saying?
The rhino?
Yeah. You know
Now, I'm
what
not
the fuck-
shocked often, but that shit shocked me.
Where the dude fucking you with their
Mr.
head with
Sensational
their
had to
fake
put his
dick.
head down on the rhino shit. You speechless.
Some
speechless.
females have done it. You know, I just wanted to know if you was one of them that had.
Nah, man. That's a little different.
Yeah.
I'm into different shit, but the rhino...
You just haven't been there yet.
I
Then you
don't
might
think
get
I'm going
a good
there.
old country boy that be like, let me put this on my head and jam at it.
Nah, man.
I bet you I can make you come with
That
this.
shit ain't natural.
Some chicks get off with
Shit
it.
ain't fucking natural.
That's like fucking a horse, isn't it?
Some chicks get off with it, you know? Like they get off with the horses. You know
What the
I'm
fuck? Any woman out there, I want to know what the fuck is the rhino. Tell me what the rhino is. Rashina Summers, are you still out there? Let us know what that rhino is.
I think a lot of us city girls don't know a damn thing about the rhino. He done
Tell
brought
me what
this
the
country
rhino
shit.
is. Any ladies
the
out
table.
there, tell me what the rhino is. I want to know.
The rhino. That was definitely a little different. Mr. Sensational, what's your different shit? What's your fetish?
Oprah and a lot of money.
You know I get mad at you when you do this dumb
Yeah,
shit.
who is this guy?
Yeah, we don't even know
Oh,
him.
I don't know
He said
you.
opening a lot of money or just having sex on top of a lot of money.
It must be just having sex on top of a lot of money.
With Oprah.
I ain't even gonna-
Oprah.
I ain't
It
even
could be
gonna tell you.
any
I ain't even
girl
gonna
with a
lie.
lot
Gotta
of
be the
money.
richest.
If I'm
gotta
having
be the
sex,
richest black chick
if you
in the
gonna
world.
go-
if I'm
one
having
way.
sex on the top of somebody else's
So let
money,
me ask you something. Since we're talking
my
about
ass
Oprah
is
with a lot
gonna
of
suck in
money,
every cent.
and she has some weird fetishes. So, with all her money, would you let her massage your prostate?
You a motherfucking lie.
Exactly.
You a motherfucking
You gonna
lie
be a
because
goddamn
guess
$2
what?
hole for that
Guess
goddamn
what?
money.
She could massage my motherfucking prostate.
But we already
With that
know.
money, she
And
got.
this is Rick Ross saying.
Exactly.
And he already got
Exactly.
Huh.
Ricky
Exactly.
already caught that for
Huh.
free anyway. So yeah.
Ricky
I'm just
Rose.
saying.
Rick
Why you
just said-
always
Ricky
sitting over
Rose.
that bullshit?
Rick just said
I'm
that's
just
more
saying.
fucking with
You
Don't
Oprah.
over
judge me.
that bullshit.
Don't
I'ma
judge
judge
me.
you on this shit
Don't
because you
judge
ain't
me.
being fucking truthful.
Hey, Rashina
I
Summers
am not
says she
letting
don't know
nothing
what
go
the
up
what the
on
rhino
you.
You a
is.
goddamn
But she would
lie.
love to
If
know.
she
Show
said
me.
You a nasty. You
behind
nasty.
closed doors, I
Hell
think you
no.
a fucking freak.
Hell
You
no.
nasty, Rashina.
There are
Talking
limits
about
to
she don't
everything.
know, but she would love to find out.
Oh
You
my
nasty
God.
as fuck.
I'm trying to
Rashina.
figure out why he's sitting over there and being
She tried to
incognito
make me
when he know
something
goddamn
I'm
well
not.
whatever position Oprah tells his ass to get into, he's gonna do it.
How much
True
is
or
it?
Damn
false?
right.
Rick
How
Ross
much is on
already
the table?
said fucking with Oprah is more than
All of it.
More than all his
All of
contracts.
it.
Of
You said
course,
I'm gonna
he
tell you
said.
automatically.
All of it, exactly.
I'm gonna tell you
Yeah.
automatically. If Oprah
You
gave
can wash
me
your butt afterwards.
a stack of fucking money,
$1 billion.
I'ma bend the fuck over. I'ma lay on the bed. I'ma get in the crab meat. I'ma get in whatever fucking position she want me to get in for that money.
You did say $1 billion.
Yes.
Huh?
I'm a little more flexible for $1 billion.
Listen, listen.
You
Let me
flexible
tell
with
you.
$1 million.
Listen.
What the fuck are you talking
Hey,
about,
listen.
man?
Check
I'm
this
not selling
out.
myself cheap.
Check this out.
Who you fucking kidding?
Check this out. This
That's
a
what I
holler.
don't understand.
Hold on,
Who
Quinn.
the fuck
Hold
is
on,
he
Quinn.
kidding?
I ain't no
Listen.
cheap
You
hoe.
You a
bullshit.
goddamn lie.
Hold on, Quinn. Hold on, Quinn.
$1
You
million is
bullshit.
more than
So
what
check
you
this
have.
out. Check this out. If she said to me, I'm
I
gonna
want
give you
suck your
$1 million for you to suck your own titty. There you go, Oprah.
Yo.
There you go, Oprah. Let me get that money. Let me get that money. Let me
He
give
is
it. Put it on your
scandalous. Do
feet.
that shit again.
If Oprah said to me, She want to give me $1 million for me to lick my own motherfucking titty. There you go, Oprah. There you go, Oprah. I'm gonna get that $1 million.
Man.
Fuck what you heard. You hear what I'm saying? Huh.
So what you saying is that you'll be a hoe for $1 million.
I'm gonna be a fucking hoe. I'm gonna be a bitch for $1 million.
I'm like Mark. I got my standards.
Fuck that. You can have your motherfucking. Listen, you can have your standards.
I got my motherfucking standards.
You can have your motherfucking standards, but guess what? At the end of the day, I'm gonna be a motherfucking millionaire.
But she done turned you into a
I
bitch,
push
yo.
and I push.
Yeah.
I ride and I ride. Trying to survive on 95.
You Oprah's bitch, man.
I don't give a fuck. I'm rich, bitch. No, I'm talking.
You rich, but you're a bitch. You're $1 million hoe, yo.
Alright, that's all I know.
You
can come to me for
And first
you
of
can
all,
come to me for a
after- wait,
motherfucking
wait,
long
first of
dude.
all-
Y'all rapper.
Yeah, well, he taking one for the team.
He
But
taking-
first of all, after she bitch him out, then Gail gonna bitch his ass out. So he like a team bitch.
Listen,
Gail kind of fat,
listen.
though, you know,
And when the bills, when it's time to pay the bills, I got the money to send
That's
you,
all right.
alright?
Since he had $1 million hole, he can move us to a bigger studio.
There you go.
This is
There
true.
you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
He taking
See,
one for the
listen,
team.
Listen, when I blow up, you blow up. You understand what I'm saying? Huh? Rouse.
Oh my God, what a hoe.
Okay, you know, so
There's
we
nothing
already got
Visit
this
any
right.
one of my
Nothing
wing
else to say.
stops
See, Oprah's a woman.
whenever you ready.
She's a woman
Now, when it goes $1 million, it gets a little strange.
for some change.
What you gonna do?
Say it again.
When it goes $1 million and gets strange for some change, what are you gonna do?
He gonna get strange for the change.
You might as well call me the Outer Limits.
I'm so done with his ass right now.
This is the fucking Halloween show. We getting it all in
We
today.
get live.
You feel what I'm saying?
Live.
Oh Lord, Jesus.
Oh Lord, you a live freak, yo.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yo, hey, Artiste.
I'm scared.
When I leave the
scared.
show, I'm coming down your house. I'm gonna bring the limo down there. You know what I'm saying? That's how we gonna do. I'm gonna see if the queen wanna come too.
I'm so
You feel what I'm
fucking
saying?
low.
AKA the homobile, not the limo.
Oh, the
The
homobile.
homobile.
Wow, wow, wow. That was a little different, man.
Hey, listen.
I'm
must-
not judging, but what
Listen.
I'm
Oh,
saying
yes, you
is
are.
somebody has
Yes,
to take
you
one
are.
for the team.
I'm gonna
So
take
if
you
for
it's
the
gonna
team.
be,
I'm
if
gonna
it's
take
gonna
you
be
for the
him,
team.
man, you my
I'm-
man.
You know,
I'm
You
gonna
my
take it for the
motherfucking
team.
man, because he willing to take
I'ma
one for
take
the
it for
team.
the
I'm gonna
team.
go find you some money. Yes.
I'm gonna take you for the motherfucking team.
Okay? That's our hoe, yo.
All day.
All day,
Oh my God.
Rouse.
Oh my God. You like really in character. I mean, I'm impressed. He's
Yes.
so in character, but the hoe
I
is
could not wait until
some
tonight.
different shit, though.
I couldn't, huh?
The hoe is some different shit.
That's I don't care. I don't care.
Oh my God, Halloween.
Because it's not him, it's Ross agreeing.
I'm gonna tell you
Are
automatically.
you saying no? It's him. It's
It's
this
not him, it's
motherfucker.
Ross. He is-
Aside from the Rick Ross costume, it's him. He is the hoe. He is the hoe
You
for
don't think
$10,000.
Ross
What the
was
fuck are
selling
you
something?
saying?
Love in the heart.
Ross was selling himself to Oprah. She
No.
Then what Oprah is more than all
It's
the contracts
Dr.
she got.
Love. Fuck
Artiste,
Ross.
I'm coming
It's
down there. We
Dr.
gonna snap
Love.
pictures.
It's Dr. Love. Dr. Love.
When
Yeah.
somebody offers you more money than you ever make in your whole life, sometimes you change your mind.
You gotta
Is
understand.
that what you saying?
Rick
You'll do
Ross.
something strange for some change?
You know we keep.
Nah.
You know.
That's
you
what
got
it
the
sounds
queen
like.
here.
You don't take it back because that's what you just
I
said.
said sometimes you change your mind.
She might
I'm
want to do
not
the
one of them
rhino
type of
on
cat.
you.
Yeah.
Ooh. Ooh.
I'm not
Yeah.
one of them type of cat.
Be
You
like.
not
Be
one of them
like.
type of cat?
Look. Yeah. You get the rhino and talking about. Don't you tell nobody.
You need somebody that do a lot of.
Don't
a
you
lot of
tell
pen
no
work.
motherfucking
A lot of
body.
what?
A lot of pen work. Somebody looking for an easy way.
Oh,
I
God.
don't look for easy ways.
You don't look for
Listen,
easy
check
way.
this out. Check this out. Easy way, slow way. I'm gonna get it my way. You hear what I'm
The
saying?
whole way.
The whole way.
The whole way is the only way.
Is it?
Listen, strippers ain't got Maybach business and big houses for nothing.
They sold their soul for the Maybach.
No, they sold their ass.
That too.
Well, Rose.
You're a soul seller. This soul could be yours if the price is right.
This ass
His ass can be yours.
His ass could be yours if the price
Ladies,
is
this
right.
ass can be yours if the price is
Let
right.
me just put this disclaimer out there. The views that you have heard have been the views of Rick Ross / Dr. Love, because the queen ain't with that shit.
You gotta put me in your mouth.
I'm just saying.
Now.
She lying deep down. She want to know what the rhino is.
Shit, fuck the rhino.
At
The
the next
views
party,
that you
she
have
was
heard
like,
have
"Is
been
that
the
rhino?"
views of Dr. Love / Rick Ross,
Oh,
the $1 Million Hoe.
oh. Don't fucking judge me.
At least you're not cheap.
Don't fucking judge
At
me.
least he's not cheap.
You know what I'm saying? You're not one of them double cheeseburger hoes. You the least.
Well, he that, but with a regular bitch. That's what. When you start talking Oprah, that's big money paper.
I mean, you know, Oprah will make you do some things, you know.
That's what I was trying to tell you, but you want to
They
sit
got
over
that-
there and
she got that
talk
spare
Negro.
house.
Rashida
That's
She'll
Summers.
make you do something.
Rashida Summers, you still on?
But
Let
I'll
me
have,
know.
a-
But
I'll
you
have
gonna
a
do
decent
some
discussion.
straight-
I'm gonna come to your
See if
house.
there's some
Y'all had to
negotiation
come to the
rules.
table.
There's gotta be some negotiation. I'll be like,
So
look,
what's your
we
negotiation?
might need to do this, but maybe we can do that.
And if she say it's all or nothing,
There's always room for negotiation.
all or nothing.
See, you know what? You just trying to pimp me today. It's not gonna happen.
If you
You're
go
not
all
gonna
in,
pimp
you
me
get the
today.
house with
Y'all,
the
first of all, let me just
devil.
say this.
mansion, the
Y'all
spare
my
mansion
mention them,
with
so
the pool.
y'all gotta take one for the team.
I'm gonna take a plane
I'm
tonight.
not taking nothing
Come
Spare
get
mansion
you.
with the pool.
You
I
devil.
ain't going to work tomorrow.
Son, I rebuke you.
I am a devil.
I see it. I rebuke you.
Oh my God.
I think
you
it's
know,
that magic
Is it
hour
that
too.
time?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So I'm gonna close out the show tonight. I want to
The
thank
name of the country
all
white
my
boys.
Instagram friends for tuning in. Tonight was our Halloween edition, and oh shit, we
What's
got
up,
a little
cuz?
live tonight in honor of
Ricky
Halloween.
Ross.
As you can see, I'm dressed as a zebra.
Oh,
So let me put my hood on. Next week, I'm gonna be on vacation, so hopefully the guys will hold it down for me.
yeah.
Again, Halloween edition. We will see you. Are you all gonna hold the show down next week? Before I put it out there, can y'all handle
I'm
it?
gonna talk. See if he's not on tour. We might be able to do something.
Can you handle it next week? Listen,
Yeah.
can you just come off tour for 1 second?
We gonna
Yeah.
talk about you. The
Okay,
whole
so-
damn time.
The show will air next Monday, same
Next
time,
Monday.
7 p.m. to 9 p.m. www.streetlegalradio.com. I won't be here next week, but the guys, my men's and them will hold it down. I can only imagine what they're going to talk about. Again, thank you, Instagram, for tuning in. M. Who, thanks for tuning in. Let me see who else. My son is on here, T-Von, we should talk. Big Key, Seti. I thank y'all. Have a good night. And the Intimacy Chronicles will be back next week. Thank you.
I push and I push. I ride
This
and I
motherfucker
ride.
is like really
Trying to
in character.
survive on 95.
It was live.
MMG.
Well,